Happy Friday and welcome back. And if you're on the East Coast, I know it's scorching hot. So stay cool. Put some, use a little bit of your cooling gels, be inside, drink a lot of water, and some cucumbers, always good. So today we're going to talk about a big adulting challenge that we face in the Lal Gune household. And I'm sure a lot of you too might be. And I'm going to take you back in time when we were little kids. And I remember we would have, so I was brought up with very tight deadlines, tight discipline, right? So there were times where I had to go to sleep, be in bed by 9:30, wake up in the morning. So there was a schedule and routine to me as a kid, which I think most kids need, so that's great. And I remember as I grew up and went to school, we would have sleepovers. And given that I was used to being in bed by 9:30, by around 9:30 or 10, I would start feeling really sleepy, really tired. I wanted to get into bed, but the people I was having sleepovers with were wide awake and having a good time and wanted to play some more. And a part of me really wanted to sleep. Another part of me just did not want to sleep because I had such fear that they're going to have so much fun in the evening or the night when I go off to sleep. I did not want to miss out on all the fun. Fast forward many years later, I see that behavior, not just in kids. If you try and put a kid to sleep, if there are lots of people around and you tell them it's 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock, get ready, get into your PJs, brush your teeth, kids resist. They'll be like, no, one more story, no, one more Lego game, no, one more whatever else, right? They will negotiate with you. It's never like, yes, good night, I'm ready to go to sleep, even though they're exhausted. And it's interesting to note that that phenomenon exists not just with children. It's also with adults, maybe even with you. This is something that I've seen a lot with Aniket, my husband. He'll wake up in the morning and his first thought would be, oh my God, I should go to bed a little bit sooner. And I'm like, yes, I agree, I second that. And yet every night he is up much later than he needs to. And it's not just Aniket's issue, or it's not just Aniket's life that I've seen this in. I've seen this with so many close friends of mine, and all of you know who you are. You should be in bed much earlier, but come 11 o'clock, you really want to surf Instagram, and you want to turn on Netflix and binge watch, or you want to watch the news. You want to do something, and the next thing you know, it's 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning, and you still haven't gone to sleep, and you have to wake up in the morning and go to work. And I've always wondered, what is it that makes us stay up at night when we know completely well as adults we should be in bed, because we will pay the price the next morning in terms of how we show up, in terms of our energy, in terms of our mood, in terms of our enthusiasm, and yet we find ourselves doing exactly what we did as children. How come we never grew up? What happened to adulting? And given that I see this happening so often around me, and the last couple of weeks I've started seeing that happen even in myself, and I was like, ooh, wait, we need to kind of go into this and understand why is it that I am staying awake much later. And I started looking, of course, at myself. I started doing a little bit of reading. I started observing friends around me and saying, okay, why is this happening? And some couple of interesting observations that I have, and I would love yours too, so you can type them too if you think you have some really good ideas as to why people do this. The first one that I noticed is actually there's a term for this. It's called sleep procrastination. Often when we think of people with sleep issues, we think of people who want to go to sleep but cannot. They cannot turn your mind off, or they're too wide awake, or they try and go to sleep but sleep evades them. But these are not the people we're talking about. We're talking about people who can easily go to sleep but choose not to go to sleep. And it's called sleep procrastination. And I was wondering, does it happen to people who don't have self-control, or people who like to indulge in things they may not be life-supporting? And actually, it's completely counterintuitive. I looked at my friends, and I looked at the ones that do this phenomenon, right? And myself over the last couple of weeks. And I noticed days where I'm working really late, days that I haven't had free time, days where I haven't had chance to kind of, just go out for a coffee, go for a stroll, unwind during the day, is the days where I resist sleep more. I go to bed, I sit in bed, I meditate, and then just before meditation, I'm like, oh, let me just look at the news. I haven't looked at news today. Oh, let me look at Instagram. I haven't seen Instagram today. It, in some ways, is my way of winding down and indulging a little bit in things I've not had a chance to indulge in the whole day. So just see if that's happening with you. Are you so busy during the day? Are you so packed that you're not letting yourself a little bit of free time? And when you don't give yourself the free time, you want it in some way, shape, or form. So then you get it at night when you actually should be unwinding and going to sleep. So that's one. The second thing that I've also seen is people who are very hard on themselves. You know, through the day, it's a very disciplined life, it's a very structured life. And by the evening, you want a little bit of free fall, you want a little bit of play, you want a little bit of freedom, and that is when we start giving ourselves that freedom to do things that we have not allowed ourselves to do. You know, for example, you could be at an offsite and there are lots of cakes over there and you tell yourself you're not going to eat it. And you have been using a lot of discipline and self-control, and somewhere the spirit in you wants to rebel and say, you know what, I want a little bit of freedom. And that rebellion happens at night when your self-control is already a little bit low. Your ability to self-regulate is already a little bit of, it's a little bit low. So when you over self-regulate yourself, you will realize at night, when you don't have that much energy to self-regulate, you will start indulging in things that may not be life-supporting. Right? The third thing, which is interesting, which I see in Aniket a lot, is there are certain nighttime routines we all have, right? So for some of us, it might be that you have to turn all the lights off, the dishes have to be done, or you brush, you floss, all the things that you need to do at night before you go to bed. And for some of us, those routines take much, much longer because it's a very long, gentle, at your own pace routine. And for a few people that I've seen, my mom included, that routine actually takes half an hour. I'm like, I really don't get it, but it takes a long time because they're doing it at their own pace. And I think just your mind knowing that there is 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour between you and sleep, you keep procrastinating. You don't want to get to it because just going through brushing your teeth, flossing, changing, showering, whatever that you do, seems like, oh my God, it's even more work and I'm so tired. So just see which of these things is coming in your way. Is it also like there might be a little bit of fear of missing out, that life is moving on, I want to pack in as much as I can in the day, I don't want to lose it, I haven't had a chance to pack in too much today, so I really want to do it. Is that what it is, right? You haven't given yourself free time, you haven't had a good time, so then you want to do that at night. Is it that there are things coming in your way between you and going to sleep? Or is it that you've been so hard on yourself the whole day that you now want a little bit of loose time, a little bit of me time, a little bit of indulgence? Whatever it is, just identify what's coming in the way, because identification itself will be one step toward you being able to address what's not letting you sleep, because it's showing up the next day. So if it is that you aren't giving yourself enough time, make a little bit of time. It's okay, work will be there tomorrow, all your to-do lists will be there tomorrow, the earth will continue with or without you on your to-do list. So don't take everything that you have to do so seriously. Note to self, because the last few weeks we've been looking to launch our app and it's really been long hours and I'm like, let me get this done and get this done. Just note, I'm speaking to myself as I'm speaking to you, it's okay. Take those little moments and maybe a few minutes to just do stuff, unwind, enjoy, so that you're not doing that at the end of the day, right? If you're too hard on yourself, see if you can ease yourself off a little bit. Yeah. And if there's this whole fear of missing out, then just see, maybe you tell yourself, I will live completely, today if I go to sleep, tomorrow will be a better day. Whatever you need to tell yourself. Also sometimes when you change a habit, baby steps make a difference. So I would tell myself, like, I love chai. I would tell myself, you know what? No chai for the weekdays, weekend you can have it. So you reward yourself. Don't be too hard, and take baby steps, only for a week. Let me try this for a week. Let me try it for another week. Don't say for the rest of your life. And the last thing is, don't label yourself that, I just can't go to sleep. I'm not disciplined. I don't know why I do this to myself. You're beating yourself down. You're labeling yourself. And when that happens, in some ways we put the seed of that not happening already in our consciousness. So it's okay. you know what, I went to sleep late, it's fine. I will come back, new person today, new day, new me, and we will behave differently. So I'm just going to pause over there and see if you have any thoughts, comments. I'm looking to see if there are. I don't see any. Maybe this is not your issue. Maybe you really go to sleep at good time as you're putting the kids to bed. You're asleep yourself. But if you aren't and you know friends around, let me know what you think keeps them up at night when they should actually be sleeping. So sometimes the mind just says you're not sleepy, so sleep is going to evade you. So you start doing things that are anti-sleep. Yes, that is definitely the case. And the mind tells you you're not sleepy because maybe you are not. Maybe you have had too much energy. At that time, do something else. It's absolutely fine. And if sleep is evading you, it's okay to just lie in bed. If you're really tired physically, just lie in bed. And even if sleep is not coming, it's okay. Just at least the body is getting some rest. You know, this whole thing of I'm not getting sleep, I'm not getting sleep, I'm not getting sleep is actually coming in the way of us sleeping. The more we try to sleep, the worse it becomes. So if you are really tired and the mind is telling you you're not sleepy, don't listen to it. Go through your routine or whatever it might be. But if you're really not tired, it's absolutely okay. Don't sleep at that time because you'll only get more frustrated. Great question. Anything else that you guys have? If not, see if you can go to sleep on time and not resist as if you were a 5-year-old and throw a tantrum when you're actually supposed to go to sleep. Because you know what happens to 5-year-olds when they don't get enough sleep? They're very cranky and not their best self the next morning, and the next day kind of gets ruined. So in our hope of living life to the fullest and, you know, packing in as much fun and as much joy, the trade is not quite working out. So because we might do that for an hour or two, but then we lose the next 24 hours. Okay, so on that, I'm going to leave you. Have a great weekend, a great Friday, and stay cool. Yeah, see you. Bye.